Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Y'all, all of the years of hard work, they are paying off. The backyard is simply spectacular right now, and I want to take a moment and just appreciate the beauty of this late spring mature southern garden. I know various people throughout the country, we are all in our different spots of the garden journey, and so I just want to share a bit of encouragement with you to share that, you know what, all of the hard work you're putting into your gardens, it does pay off. I said it once, I'll say it again. Gardening teaches you patience. Our backyard certainly has done that, but all of the years of work, they are paying off. It's a beautiful space to live in. Let's go take a look. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning here in North Carolina, Zone 8A. We are in Dallas, North Carolina, just west of Charlotte. I like to kind of give everybody a frame of reference where we are. But this is our backyard. We have lived in our house for 22 years now. And this backyard has seen so much transformation. And not that we are finished with the gardens, but I feel like we are in a really, really good spot. So I just want to share this space with you to share the messes, the successes, the journey that this space has been under for the last 22 years, why we are loving it so much, and then some design elements that you can take and apply to your garden, whether you live in the southeast like us, out west, up north. The design elements are always there. So one of the biggest things that we had, quote, a challenge with in these gardens when we first moved in, we built our house in the middle of a field. My daddy farmed this and there was nothing. It was a field. So no trees, no structure, no nothing. So when we were trying to create the gardens, it was hard because it was such a blank space, and I wanted to create, quote, rooms in here, right? So little garden rooms that give us privacy. Now, we don't have any kind of neighbors behind us, but still, you want to have that feeling of being looked in and peacefulness and serenity. So I think we have accomplished that. I am sure there will be tweaks and edits to this space in the years to come, but for right now, we are simply enjoying this space. One of the biggest things when you start to design a garden is get the bones in, right? And so that means your trees, your large shrubs, possibly even some hardscape. So the forest pansy redbud, we've had it for 16 years. I always tell the story. We bought it when I was pregnant with Jackson. He just turned 16 last month. And so, of course, this forest pansy redbud gives us a beautiful shade, has that garden underneath there that gives me the shade, and just adore it. But from a design perspective, of course, that brings us a structure. The forest pansy, it is a red, but it's a really, really dark color. And so we repeated that dark color with the tree with our Japanese maples. So there through the rose arch, we have the Emperor One Japanese maple. And then over here, right behind the fountain, I always get this mixed up. It is, I'll put the name up. I always want to say flamethrower, but I think that's a redbud. And so, yeah, there we go. It is a beautiful full sun. Both the Emperor One and this Japanese maple are full sun Japanese maples that give us that massive, gorgeous pop of color. And even in North Carolina, they do not burn. And the space is on irrigation, just to kind of give you a little bit of a frame of reference. So you have got those nice colors that repeat. Of course, we have got like the cherry tree, we've got the magnolia. One of my favorite bones of this garden is not a plant at all, but it is the fountain. We installed this fountain about 4 years ago. It is from Unique Stone. This is the hospitality fountain, and it has just brought us so much joy, peace, and serenity because, of course, the patio is just right there. And this time of year, we live out here, especially at night. So the bones can be both plants, and it can also be hard infrastructure. So about 4 years ago, we completely transformed this space. Oh, Okay, don't know if you just saw that. My friends, there's always chaos happening here at Creekside. So I'm sitting here filming and I hear this scatter. Brenna found the bunny. We have rabbits, that is. We don't have deer here, we have rabbits. And evidently we have a fresh batch of baby bunnies. And so Brenna flushed it out from the forest pansy bed. And sometimes she can do more damage trying to find the rabbit than actually, she's never caught a rabbit. She just scares it, which is fine, but it's not working because the rabbits are still here. Yeah, so it's always entertaining around here, my friends. Back to the garden tour. It was 4 years ago that we completed this massive project here in the back. We have 3 children. They are all now young adults. Jackson is, quote, the baby at 16. And so we had actually an above ground pool in this space. So there was a pool right here. Jerry fashioned a deck that came off flat, even with the back porch, and then did a deck all around the pool. And so it felt like an in-ground pool, but it wasn't above ground pool. It was the best thing because our children became very proficient swimmers. They turned into fish. It was wonderful. But all good things must come to an end. So this is one of those first projects where Jerry really dreamed big. He was like, I want to just capture this space that we can use it for our family. It's in the back. Nobody can see us. We can't see people coming and going. And so together we dreamed up this space. It was a ton of work. Took us about 1.5 years to do it. We did it all ourselves, but it was a major labor of love. It taught us we're never going to lay stone professionally for people. We only do it for ourselves. But it has been such a rewarding space because we live out here whenever the weather is acceptable and permits, whether it's too hot or too cold, and you always have that sweet spot. We are here and absolutely love it. And so this brings a ton of structure to the space. Not only does it give us structure in the space, but of course we had to incorporate gardens to it. And so I told Jerry, I said, I want to have, quote, like a raised bed. So around the 2 sides of the patio, we have these small retaining walls filled with soil. The soil just goes straight down to the native soil. People ask about our house. So we have a brick foundation. So this is not like a facade. It's a solid brick foundation. And so we don't have to worry about rot or anything like that. And so here, of course, on the big back wall, this is actually our garage. So we have a massive blank wall because it is the garage. And so we have those 3 trellises, got them from Gardener Supply Company years ago. And I put the perennial Clematis. Perennial comes from our friends at Brushwood Nursery. All 3 of them are the same. They're getting to be a little bit at the end of their bloom cycle, but a beautiful creamy white with that pinky purple edge, and just love it. So over the time, none of this was done all at the same time. We slowly add to it. And then, of course, we have David Austin roses at the base of each of those trellises. All 3 of them are different. They are going again at the end of their bloom cycle. And then this year we put Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz with the Senorita Rosalita Cleome behind it. And they have found their feet, my friends. They are taking off and doing really, really well. We do have drip irrigation in this space, and so it runs about once a day, 10 to 15 minutes long. I'm all about sharing messes and successes. Not that this is a mess. I knew that this was going to happen, but we also put the Violet Night Sweet Alyssum as a little bit of an accent as a trailer. Sweet Alyssum loves cool, damp environments. And so the heat has hit here in North Carolina. You can see that the foliage is just fine. It's not like it's not getting enough water. It's getting plenty of water. But because of the heat, this is most definitely one of my hottest spaces in our entire gardens, and gardenias love it here. But the alyssum is just getting too hot for it, so it has stopped blooming. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to just let the cool jazz take over, or if I'm going to pull out the alyssum and put something else in there. have not decided yet, but if you are in the south in those warm areas and your alyssum is has not bloomed as well, then that is probably what it is. It is the heat. It is nothing that you are doing. It is just simply heat that we cannot control. And we have tons of little friends here in the garden. This sweet little anole, if you can see him, that bright green, I always tell Jerry, I said that is the sign of a healthy garden, because if you've got lots of little friends in your garden, then that means that your space is very healthy and a hospitable home for these sweet guys. And then this is the blue chiffon, a Rose of Sharon standard. We're not blooming yet, but we are so close. We have got buds on it. And so this is another structure piece here that we've had since we put the garden in. It is a beautiful, beautiful addition. It brings me loads and loads of color and height and structure to this space. Absolutely adore it. It's no secret that we work very closely with the folks at Proven Winners, and when we first began gardening and exploring the different Proven Winners color choice shrubs, we saw that famous picture of the incredible hydrangea hedge, and we were like, at least I said, I want to recreate that here in our space. Now, the actual incredible hedge is massive. It's a double layer. It goes probably, I don't know, 30, 50 feet. It's in a curve. It's huge. It's underneath some big mature trees. So that is a great example of I did not want to exactly copy the exact, do an exact replica of that hydrangea hedge. However, I took inspiration from that hedge and we created our own incredible hedge here in our backyard. On the patio, we have a fire pit, right? So this is just, we can put a wood burning fire in here. And so we did that, and then we created the curved wall behind it. And I knew that this was the perfect place to do that incredible hedge. So again, took inspiration, and we planted 5 of the Incredibles. It is a single layer. It is not a double layer like the original. Obviously much smaller than the original, but it gives us exactly the look that I wanted. So it fills in the space right there between the 2 urns on the seating wall. It gives us some height and some, quote, privacy. Again, there is nobody out there. There are no people out there. But still, you want to feel like you're nooked in and kind of secure in your space. Incredibles will get to be about 4 to 5 feet tall and wide at maturity. And my friends, I think we have reached maturity. So when we planted them 4.5 feet apart from one another, so that this would happen, so that when they are in all of their beautiful glory, which they're about to be, that they kiss one another and you cannot see through them. That's exactly the look that we wanted. Incredibles are a smooth arborescent hydrangea. They are color specific. Obviously, they're going to be a beautiful white. They are just coming in to their own. They still have not reached their maximum potential. And so these are in full sun. Like I said, sun up to sundown. However, they are on drip irrigation and they get watered once a day for, again, that about 15 minutes per day. And they do not burn under normal circumstances. Of course, we are in a drought, but you can see that they are doing well. I have not had to up the watering or do any kind of supplemental watering, and they are doing just really well. So these have been in here since the garden, and then on the other side, oh my goodness, it is a doozy of a show. And then the urns, of course, on each side of the wall. This is a really fun space for me to play with because every season I do a different planting in here. They are in all of their glory right now. Probably it's about time for me to come in and do just a little bit of maintenance as far as trimming up the base of the super bells. But these are, the urns are the Weston urns from Unique Stone, and they are on drip irrigation. Has the super bells blue moon punch in there, the bright lights purple osteospermum, and there is a diamond frost there in the center, but I think it's getting swallowed up. But but who cares, because these urns are gorgeous. Then, talking about, it is a doozy of a show. We have on the other side of the incredible hedge, we have a hedge of the double play doozy spireas. And in this space, they have been here also since the development of this garden 4 years ago. We have 5 of them here. And if you do not have spireas, you're missing out. 1, they're gorgeous. 2, they are a massive pollinator attractor. This space is absolutely crawling with bumblebees. They are loving these double play doozy spireas. I mean, just having the best time. Now, double play doozy, it is sterile, so it is not going to produce seed. They have been here for 4 years, and I have never had a baby sprout up somewhere. The only time I've ever had, quote, an extra plant is when we accidentally put mulch on top of a limb and then it roots into the garden. But it is sterile, and therefore, because it is sterile, it will continually produce flowers. Now, this is most definitely its biggest show. The spring show of flowers is the biggest display. When we were having the Creekside Signature experience, I would come in here and completely deadhead the spireas, and then they would flush back out again. Not quite as strong as this one, but very, very close. If you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to, but it is a beautiful, beautiful display that gives us privacy with these mature shrubs. One thing that we see a lot of at the garden center when folks come to visit and we're trying to help them with their landscape, some people, not all people, but they get hung up on, oh, it's deciduous, I don't want it. I want to have color, year round. And heaven knows I am all about having evergreens in your garden, right? We need to have evergreens in our garden. It is very important to have structure continuously 12 months out of the year in our garden. However, in the case of the hedge right here, both of those shrubs are deciduous. In the wintertime, they are sticks. Absolutely. But guess what? Am I sitting on the patio in late December, January, expecting to see big, beautiful blooms? No, I'm not. So for everything there is a season, for everything there is a place for those shrubs. So if you want to have a beautiful flower display in the summer, spring, fall, when you're mostly going to be outside and enjoying that space, it's okay to have a completely deciduous hedge of plants, of shrubs. It is totally acceptable. So I guess that's the thing about with me as my gardening approach, is that I'm for everything. I want the trees, I want the evergreens, I want the deciduous shrubs, I want the annuals, I want the perennials, because I want my garden to continually give me a beautiful display. And it changes all the time with the seasons as the shrubs, as the perennials, as the annuals hit their peak, they go down, and then somebody else gets to take up the banner of beautiful glory in the garden. It's fun being a gardener, and it's also, as I tell people over and over again, 22 years, my friends, 22 years that it has taken us to get to this space. Some people get there a whole lot faster. We're just not those people. We have to sit, and the gardens have changed. The backyard has changed so much since we have been in this space. But you start to come in your own. You start to figure out exactly what you do and you don't want. And then you plan accordingly for that and let the gardens do all the heavy lifting after you've done all the work, right? There is a little bit of a balance of both. While the major bones of the garden definitely play a huge role, so do the layers of the garden. Those soft perennials, those sweet annuals, those flowers, it all plays together. 4 years ago, when we created the patio space, we had to have a way to go from our driveway around to the backyard, and this has become such a favorite place of mine. To the left, we call it the Emperor One bed because that's the Emperor One. It is a full sun garden. Again, it's in the morning, so the sun is just coming up. And then here to the left, underneath the forest pansy, this is a shade garden. This space right here that you're looking at is in the full sun for about 3 to 4 hours early in the morning, and then it goes into complete and total shade. So of course you were with me just the other week. I don't even remember now what day, when it was, but we created this little collection of terracotta pots that just brings a whole different level of maturity and sophistication to the space. I have added a few containers to the area, but I just love how this works together. You can absolutely have containers on the edge and directly in the landscape, and the plants are absolutely loving this, and they are doing so well. The different colors, the different textures, the movement in this space is really fun, and I am loving this new addition. Brenna must be looking for the bunny again, and she knows that she is not supposed to be in the garden. She's supposed to be out. And so 9 times out of 10, she's a very good German Shepherd, unless there is a bunny involved, and then she kind of loses her mind. But you can see we have got a huge collection of shade-loving perennials and shrubs. Hostas and ferns, brunnera, hellebores, toad lily, hydrangeas, astilbe. This is where I have the most fun, going in here and just adding in shade-loving plants. One of my newest additions was aspidistra. I did that this late, I think it was like November, December that I added these guys. Had a little bit of a rough winter, had a lot of dieback on that original foliage that was here. This is snowcaps. Look at all of those beautiful new sprouts that are coming up. Huge pops of white in there going down the center. So snowcaps aspidistra loves the dry shade, deep shade for sure. Do not give it hardly any sun or it will burn, but very encouraged to see that new growth back there. Yeah, such a fun space. Even when you have to have electrical panels, because you know what? We do have a functioning house, and every house has to have this space. Ours just happens to be here. That's all right. We're not going to focus on that. We're focusing on the beauty. And then coming around, of course, with the rose arbor. This is from Kinsman Garden Company, the actual structure itself, and had it here again for those 4 years. We have got the generous gardener. She is at the end of her bloom cycle for now. She was absolutely spectacular in the spring. Very soft pink flowers that will turn to near white with that classic old rose fragrance. But then, as you can see, we have got the Roald Dahl. It is coming into all of its glory. Just a fantastic, again, heavily sweet fragrance. That classic old rose, that tends to be where I want to go with my roses. I have not deadheaded these at all. Doing spectacular, just beautiful. And then in front of them, I have the unplugged So Blue. So layering in those structures, right? You've got the Japanese maple, you've got the tea olives that kind of hide the garden shed, again giving us privacy, nooking us in. Then we have got the Quickfire Fab hydrangeas, a great panicle hydrangea that's going to give us great color for the summer. And so we're layering, right? You've got the height of the tea olives, then next will be the Quickfire Fab, then you've got the roses, and then we come and we step down and we have got the unplugged So Blue salvia, which is a more shorter salvia than say like the rockin' salvias. And then we go down one more step with another annual is the Aromagica purple heliotrope. So all about layering, all about color, texture, and movement, and just enjoying this space. Recently, I added a Clematis. This is Tranquil. We had it at the garden center. It's more of a petite Clematis, beautiful like white and blue. It is just the neatest thing. A beautiful Clematis, blooms on new growth, so you can prune it every late winter down to the ground. It is a moderate grower, and so I put this little obelisk right here. Order that online. It came as a set of 3. Just stuck it in here. So you've got that Clematis next to hydrangeas and Edgeworthia and the Sugar Shack button bush right here, and then of course the Super Bells. This is that Super Bells Super Bells Magic Double Grapefruit. There we go. That will change color, so you get, this is all the same plant. You get yellows and pinks on it. Such a sweet little plant, and that container is doing quite well. When I'm talking with folks about their gardens and as they're trying to develop their garden, a lot of times people do not have specific plant ideas in mind. Every once in a while you'll have something here or there, but for the most part people just say, I want a peaceful garden, I want a beautiful garden. And so I ask them, what do you envision? You don't have to know the exact plant, but do you need height? Do you want color? Do you want the evergreen? Do you want more flowers? Do you want to attract the pollinators? Like, what are your gardening goals? So I would encourage you, if you're stuck in a space and you just don't know where to go, think first. Ultimately, what are your gardening goals? Is it a place that you want to enjoy in the summertime? Is it somewhere that you want to go and spend the early morning or that late afternoon, or you want to have family gatherings there? Think about that. Do you have neighbors, or do you have some sort of structure that you need privacy and you need to screen that? So these kind of all dictate how our gardens change and evolve and how we edit them, because life is constantly changing and our gardens can easily change with them. And then patience. 22 years, my friends, 22 years, and the garden is not done, because we are still here. And so the gardens will continue to change and evolve. Plants flourish, plants die. Nature happens, takes out some plants, and so we all must kind of change with those gardens, do those pivoting, do the editing to make sure that these gardens thrive and kind of go with us through this little journey we call life. So I hope this has been fun, informative, gives you some inspiration if at the very least maybe you found a plant or two that you've enjoyed. So as always, we so appreciate you. Thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.